Dr. Swansea is right. This place seems perfect to conduct my research.
So, it's odd. You only get to know their blood quality if you talk to them. Huh.
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reid, the new surgeon at the Pembroke Hospital. And who are you?
Your name has no meaning to me, mortal. You're nothing but dust blown by the winds of eternity.
I beg your pardon?
What are you begging for, mortal? My clemency? Well, tonight maybe I'm inclined to mercy. You'll never forget the night you met Thelma Howcroft.
You keep calling me mortal. Why is that? And if I'm mortal, what are you?
Well, Dr. Reid, if you must know, I'm a vampire.
Uh-oh. So, this is gonna go... I'm pretty sure this is gonna go two ways. Either she really is a vampire who's just hanging out in the hospital, or she's just a nutcase. So... And personal questions all... Oh no, who are you really? Okay.
Who are you really, Miss Howcroft? I mean, apart from being a vampire.
Is that not enough for you, puny mortal? What do you require? Proof of my powers?
I'm curious to know who you were before becoming a vampire.
No, it was such a long time ago, I don't remember. Centuries of unholy life can have strange effects on one's minds, you see?
And why do you believe you're a vampire?
I don't need to believe anything. It is what I am. It is what I feel within this hollow shell of flesh.
Describe how
Please,
you feel.
describe to me how you feel. What is it like to be a vampire?
I can hear my body crumble from the inside as my flesh cracks and fades. I sense the last pulse of postulant blood within my drying veins. I need new blood.
I see. Have you ever heard of Cotard syndrome, Miss Howcroft?
Never.
It's a mental illness discovered by a French neurologist named Jules Cotard. The affected patients are delusional. They believe that they are putrefying, that they are dead, a ghost or a ghoul, or in your case, a vampire.
Delusional, you say? Oh, sad and petty mortal. You can't even begin to understand the concept of immortality. And you think it is I who am delusional.
I'm assuming you must be a patient here. Am I right, Miss Howcroft?
It's only a cover. To hide from my enemies. I can leave whenever I want. As a woman, a spirit, fog, or bat.
Who are these enemies you mentioned? Can you describe them?
I cannot say for sure. But I sense their eyes on me from nearby. I feel them watching me every time I visit the garden near the morgue.
The staff here are not your enemy. They're here to help you, to care for you.
I'm not speaking of the doctors in white. I'm speaking of the men and women who hunt me. For I am a vampire.
I see. Don't worry. These people will not find you here. I'll personally make sure they leave you alone.
Thank you, mortal. But do not interfere with them, for you are no match for those that hunt me.
Personal question. Oh, not enough hints. Okay.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
And we're like, I don't know, it's kind of like he's humoring her, but at the same time being very condescending. It's kind of...
Yeah.
It's funny to watch.
The pain.
Good evening, sir. Can I help you?
Oh,
Unless you're here to fix my face. No. I don't think you can help me.
I'm Dr. Reid. I've recently taken the position of head surgeon here. War injuries, am I right?
You guessed right, Doctor. German shell took my pretty little mug right off. But they still call me Thomas Elwood.
How is your stay with us, Mr. Elwood?
Oh, it's bliss. I just escaped death in the trenches to be surrounded again by the moans of the dying.
Can I ask you precisely why you're a patient here?
It's the pain, sir. The drugs don't work. It just hurts under the scars, if you get my drift.
Who is treating you? Is someone in particular looking after your case?
Nobody since the old and tired doctor spoke to me. Started to think I was forgotten about. Wouldn't blame you.
You don't seem worried by that.
My face hurts so much more when I smile or cry. I've learned it's easier not to speak. But be assured I'm smiling inside.
Can I do anything for your pain?
Nurses gave me a bunch of pills. No effect. Told you. It's like the flames are under my skin, burning away.
Where were you stationed, sir? Did you serve for long?
I really don't want to talk about all this shit.
No offense. I was pushing too much. I served in France myself. I just wanted to know what happened to you.
You were an officer, weren't you? Then I doubt we fought the same war, sir. No offense.
How close are you to Miss Horcroft? Are you aware that she thinks she is a vampire?
To wait for her next nibble is the best reason to stay here. Every time she approaches my bed, she treats me like something tasty. A normal person.
Aren't you afraid? She may hurt you if the game goes too far.
She's quite harmless, I can assure you. Her head's broken inside is all. While I'm busted on the outside. But she's still beautiful. Living proof that there's hope for me.
So do you let her bite you? You know that's not sanitary.
And why not? She's only supping a few drops of me blood. And the pain, it's real for once.
She could decide to bite less willing patients.
Then it's another good reason for me to stay here, Doctor.
You do realize she's mentally disturbed. It's called the Cotard syndrome. She truly believes she's a vampire.
In her madness, she never refers to my scars. And frankly, if I could, I'd join her world. It seems much more fun than the real one.
Well, that's cryptic.
Where were you stationed, sir? Did you serve for long?
I really don't want to talk about all this shit.
No
Yes, I
offense.
did pick this.
I was pushing too much. I served in France myself. I just wanted to know what happened to you.
You were an officer, weren't you? Then I doubt we fought the same war, sir. No offense.
We've gotten all we're gonna get out of that.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Elwood.
Fear and disgust on every street corner.
650.
Daily routine.
1250. Oh, and she is pretty. Yeah, her portrait, like, you can't really tell with her, or at least I couldn't with all the hair in the way of her face. But yeah, the portrait.
The pain. It's here again.
A giant could be sick again.
We're
Good
gonna
evening,
have to
nurse.
talk
Good
to
evening, Doctor. I don't think we've been
everybody.
introduced yet. My name is Pippa Hawkins.
And I'm Dr. Jonathan Reid. Dr. Swansea has recently offered me a position in this hospital.
Well, it's a euphemism that your help will be appreciated, Doctor.
Life in London. And required house and staff coping.
How long have you been a nurse?
Well, long enough to see that the epidemic is winning. And no matter how qualified you are, don't tell me you'll change that.
Be surprised.
You're
No,
right. When dealing with such a terrible disease, one must remain humble. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't try our best.
Good answer.
Sorry, Doctor. I don't want to sound bitter, but I'm just too tired to give a pep talk like Nurse Brannigan.
How is the Pembroke staff coping with the epidemic?
Well, not well. Milton, the ambulance driver, is even more grumpy than usual, especially concerning doctors.
Why does Milton dislike doctors?
I don't know. Just ask him. But be warned, Milton is not the chatty type.
Why is Milton grumpy on a daily basis? Is it just an act?
Milton's not the kind of man who's bothered about a bad reputation, whether he deserved it or not.
How would you describe the situation at the Pembroke Hospital?
It's serious. The flu is wreaking havoc amongst the staff and patients. We are running out of everything.
Get a grip, or the Spanish flu won't last forever. I don't even know if she's actually freaking out. It didn't really sound like it. Let's go with Spanish
Nurse
flu won't
Hawkins,
last
the
forever.
Spanish flu won't last forever. Even the Black Plague didn't kill everyone.
I wish I could believe you. But what if this epidemic was worse? What if in the end, nobody was spared?
That's what it always feels like. Get a grip.
You
woman.
must get a hold of yourself, nurse.
Sorry, I'm exhausted. No one has any idea when this epidemic will be over.
But the suffering continues.
Inquire. Okay, that's all
Goodbye,
we can get out of
Miss
her.
Hawkins.
But we did get another hint from Milton, I believe it was. I'm surprised we haven't gotten a prompt to try to eat any of the patients.
I'm not of
Like,
my own
seriously.
life.
1,500? Respectable.
On every street corner.
I feel like vampire sight's gonna become a thing that happens often.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reid. I believe we're going to be colleagues.
Reid, yes, I've been informed about your arrival. I'm Waverly Ackroyd. Welcome aboard, I suppose.
Does my arrival inconvenience you in
I'm
some way,
immediately
Dr. Ackroyd?
getting
Let us just
asshole
say that I
vibes.
don't particularly share Dr. Swansea's enthusiasm for hiring you. What we need here are reliable professionals, not overrated dabblers.
And I was right. I don't know, you could kind of tell by the way they did his body language, which that was really good because I kind of got the impression he was a dick before he actually said the words that proved he was a dick. But it seems like everybody is, I mean, with an epidemic going on, the hospitals are probably filling up. I guess I shouldn't be surprised that, I shouldn't be surprised that his patience is worn thin and he's kind of a dick right now. Honestly, all of them have been kind of a dick, just in varying degrees, because they're just so stressed out with everything that's going on. And that's understandable. Do you have a problem?
If you have a problem with me, Dr. Ackroyd, please feel free to tell me.
Dr. Swansea has imposed your presence on this hospital without asking anyone's advice. The benefit of his position. But I don't agree with it.
I know we've never met before, but I believe this hospital could use all the help it can get. You will agree with that, I'm sure.
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reid. Of course, you can't say the same about me, since I have not wasted my time courting the press.
Like, I am being very, very patient with you, sir. But under the circumstances, I'm going to try to continue being patient with you. But if you're going to go this route... we'll go with... We will stay the diplomat.
There is no need for such animosity between us. Don't you think the epidemic is already enough to deal with?
That is one point we could agree on. And that is precisely why I want to be sure that you will be of help to this hospital, instead of a burden.
Since your tenure in this hospital is longer than mine, perhaps you can tell me more about this place.
Let's just say I'm tired of the carelessness around me. I have always respected the skills of Dr. Swansea, but over time, his enthusiasm has become displaced.
Carelessness? Exactly what are you talking about?
We're here to save lives. The people who trust us are not volunteering for experimentation. They're here to be healed.
I don't intend to run any radical experiments, Doctor. Even if I, as any good practitioner should, express an interest in pushing the boundaries of medical research.
Modern medical methods were created through audacity and ego. But there are rules in our line of work, and they're here to protect our patients.
Okay, see, that I can respect. Like, that I actually kind of can respect. And it is too often that in a field that needs to push boundaries to make progress, people go too far and go too quickly. So I can understand his concern there. On that, we can agree. But sometimes you do have to break the rules to get to that progression. And normally, it is a rule that is outdated and needs to be updated, right? So I can understand his standpoint there. And I can understand that if his first concern is the patients, why he wouldn't be okay if just some bigwig doctor from the press, off of a newspaper. Basically, to him, I'm just like a movie star actor who pretends to be a doctor while spending most of my time in front of cameras and stuff, right? So I can kind of understand his standpoint. He didn't have to be an asshole about it, but I kind of get it. Depending on how much XP he gives, I may end up dealing with that. Let's see.
It seems you have bad memories of your military service.
I refuse to see this industrial slaughter as scientific progress. War only reveals the worst in men.
We can at least agree on something, Dr. Ackroyd.
Common ground.
I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already proved my value as a practitioner.
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reid, but your motive. Is it money, fame, or are you truly dedicated?
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you, I did not use the wounded to play the modern sorcerer.
Be careful what you insinuate, Dr. Ackroyd.
I only want you to admit you used those men to improve your theories.
Actually, I don't have any reason to justify my actions, and we don't even know what Reid's actions actually were because we weren't there for that. So we don't know what exactly he did or why he did them. So it's hard to be like, I don't need to justify my actions to you. Hell, I don't even know what my actions were. We could go, I have saved many lives, but once again, I don't even know if that's true. And knowledge is our main weapon, that one, yeah.
Knowledge has always been and will remain our main weapon. And it has always come at a price. And personal initiative.
It is not a question of initiative, it is a question of integrity. These men and women have put their faith in us, Dr. Reid.
Okay, so now things have kind of shifted because Dr. Ackroyd is becoming a more likable character because he is obviously principled and he obviously, well, at least from what we're hearing, I mean, he can say anything under the sun. He can say he has a pink elephant in his butt and we, like, we don't know. We're not going in his butt to look. But from what we're being told, he's very principled. He believes the patients come first, and he's very ethical and more. He's very ethical. Like, you don't experiment on the patients. They have put their faith in us to heal them and help them. They are not here for us to just dick around with. They're not our toys, right? And you can respect that, and you can like the man for that too. On the other hand, he's accusing Reid of some pretty hefty crimes, basically. But we don't know because we don't know anything about Reid's past other than that he was in the war. and then we woke up as a vampire. We don't know anything really about Reid, so I assume we'll get to know more about Reid as the story goes on. At least I hope so.
Thank you for your time. We'll talk later.
Ho 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 ho! Like that is it is such a this is gonna be like the whole getting XP so you can continue to the game and stuff is gonna be such an issue. Oh, there's Dorothy. Okay, yeah, I remember. Yeah, Dorothy. That was the name.
I'm alright. Don't waste your time with me.
Unknown. Let's find out. Who are these?
Good evening, madam. Can I help you?
It's my son who needs you, sir.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reid. How can I help your son?
I'm Beatrice Cosway, mother of Mortimer Cosway. Could you check on him, please, Dr. Reid? I've heard much of your talents as a physician.
Well, let's check
Goodbye,
on her
Mrs.
son,
Cosway.
and we'll come back to her.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reid. Can I help at all?
No,
Really? Why are you here then?
I don't want to talk. My throat hurts too much.
I suppose that this pain is the reason you're here.
That looks...
Is someone taking care of you?
Yes. And no.
Could you at least tell me your name, sir?
Mortimer. Mortimer Goswick.
And I could be wrong, but that looks a lot like what our neck looked like when we woke up. What about the other side? Is it all... maybe? Under? I think it's along the throat, but I can't really tell. It might be from the side of the neck around the front of the throat. So it could just be a burn.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
Must communicate. We must communicate.
I'm sure
though.
you realize a doctor and his patient have to communicate, sir. Would it help if I gave you some paper and a pen?
I was just
Not
thinking
really.
that,
I
actually.
see. Then maybe it's not just your throat that hurts, Mr. Goswick. Perhaps your sore throat is just the consequence of something more hurtful.
Yes, maybe. But I don't want to talk or even write about it now.
Okay, that's suspicious.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Goswick.
I don't want to talk, Doctor.
That is...
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
I'm alright.
Okay, that's
Don't waste your time with me.
suspicious.
You always knew the
I'm
worst.
trying to get a good look at his throat, but that's suspicious. That is really suspicious.
Good evening, Doctor. How is my son doing?
Okay, no personal questions. Your life in London. Complaints about yours. She asked how her son was. Why are we talking just about her? Alright.
What can you tell me about yourself, Mrs. Goswick?
Not much to say. Just take care of my Mortimer and I'll cover all the expenses. That's all that matters.
What? It's just like, are you why would we ask that? What are you okay, this is all these lines of questioning are just rude. Like they really are. Let's go with complaints about
What do you
your
think of
reception.
your reception here? Any complaints?
I have had the uttermost reservations about this hospital since we arrived. But we had no other choice, considering the state of emergency.
Is there something in particular that's bothering you?
Some of the staff were not especially welcoming. I suspect they're not accustomed to dealing with patients of such social standing.
Uh-oh. Okay. Tell me about your arrival.
Tell me more about your arrival at the
Okay,
Pembroke
that
Hospital.
must be that
What
must
gave
be
you such a
compulsion.
bad first impression?
The ambulance driver was quite rude, for a start. And that nurse, Miss Hawkins, seems to have quite a dubious attitude.
What do you mean?
She managed to secure a bed for my son despite the epidemic. It was a relief, but it wasn't cheap.
I share your concern, Mrs. Coswick. Be sure that I'll talk to the people involved.
I don't expect compensation, Dr. Reid. But I'm aware such behavior would not be tolerated in other hospitals.
Well, we understand that she charged her. I don't feel like I need to go that route. I guess tell me about
What can you tell me about yourself?
Oh no,
Mrs.
we already
Coswick?
did that.
Not much to say. Just take care of my Mortimer and I'll cover all the expenses. That's all that matters.
Wow, that is just rude. And then we immediately buy. Some of these questions are just odd. Like, why would you ask them? Yeah, no. Why would you ask them? Fuck it. Why not? Tell me
What
about
can you
yourself.
tell me about yourself, Mrs. Coswick?
Not much to say.
Yeah, Mortimer.
Just take care of my Mortimer and I'll cover all the expenses. That's all that matters.
Why not?
Are you really that rich? Most of the patients here are of a more humble origin, if I may say so.
Yes, thanks to my husband. May he rest in peace. I can cover any needed medical expenses.
Hey, what are you doing?
May I ask if you have an occupation, Mrs. Coswick?
I'm a
only
teacher by
ma-
profession.
Which only makes me feel like
I
I'm
teach
hitting on
young
her.
women who are more ambitious about their futures than their families.
Okay, and that seems to be all.
Goodbye, Mrs. Coswick.
Don't waste your time with me.
Mortimer concerns me,
I will
And we
not
s-
let you down, my boy.
and we still don't know who is that. No. Who did we just get?
Doctor.
No.
Oh, sweet girl.
There's Aykroyd.
Reads me like a book. Never to be there,
Good evening,
Easily
Doctor.
running around talking to everybody.
I believe we're going to be working together.
Dr. Reid. Dr. Swansea informed us of your arrival, but I could not dare to believe we'd have such good fortune. Such an honor, sir.
Thank you. And you are?
I am Thoreau Strickland, Dr. Thoreau Strickland. I'm a great admirer of your work, Dr. Reid.
There's no questions yet. Methods about the Pembroke Hospital. Tell me about yourself. Tell us about
Please,
yourself.
could you tell me something about yourself?
I'm a great admirer of your work concerning blood transfusion, Dr. Reid. I run my own experiments. I'm convinced it's the future.
Tell me about
I
these
based my
experiments.
technique on my mentor's research. He helped me perfect my method. What is yours?
I'd rather not talk about it. For now, it's just theories and first approach. My process is purely experimental and unsuccessful.
As long as you're cautious and methodical, you may remain empty-handed, but you won't fail.
You're not the first one to warn me, but I am convinced knowledge is the main weapon against the ravages of this epidemic.
You're not wrong.
What made you choose to be a doctor?
I'm not ashamed to admit you and your work have inspired me. I am honored to have the opportunity to work by your side.
I'll be glad to help you. Research is exhausting. Flattery is useless. I don't know. I don't take it so much as flattery, because I feel like a lot of flattery is empty. You know, they say it but don't mean it, and it feels like he means everything he's saying. So I don't take it as like him trying to flatter me to get something out of me, or at least that's how it seems. Research is exhausting.
I'll give you some advice, but understand that nothing beats practical experience, which can be exhausting and solitary work.
Of course, sir. And don't worry, I will never allow myself to be a burden, neither to you nor this hospital.
What do you think of Dr. Ackroyd's aversion to modern medical methods?
It's a shame he's so narrow-minded. Dr. Swansea taught me that science is about exploring uncharted territory. I'm convinced that's true.
With the influenza and all that's going on, you should put your differences aside, don't you think? Why is it so difficult to work together?
I believe that if Dr. Ackroyd had been the one to discover the transfusion process, he would be the first to recommend its use.
So you believe it's just a question of jealousy and pride?
Dr. Ackroyd is as proud as he is blinded by his obsolete concept of medical science.